This is the rise and fall of Kwame Kilpatrick. Part 2. Okay, my curbsters, let's get into it. Kwame is now married to Carlita, and Christine is now married to Lou. But Kwame wants to start a campaign to run for mayor for the city of Detroit. So, of course, as I stated before, he reached out to two of his high school friends in order to get the campaign underway. And those two friends were Christine Beatty and Derek Miller. Now, the word on the curb is Christine Beatty and Kwame Kilpatrick started their love affair during this campaign. And according to the podcast, when they won, Kwame leaned in and kissed Christine smack on the lips, honey. He laid it in. And he was so surprised, and she was too, that he went in for another kiss, okay? Kwame said, and I quote, "I just remember kissing, and it was kind of like, oh shoot, what just happened? Wow, is there still feelings there? Okay, wait a minute. What does this really mean?" Now, Christine was just as shocked as Kwame was when he laid it on her. But listen to this quote that was coming from Kilpatrick's lips during the podcast, okay? He said that the two would often work for hours, sometimes talking 3 or 4 hours when the workday was done. Quote, "Sometimes we had to work literally. We were working until midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And you have the Bonnie and Clyde type atmosphere. Somebody who was willing to stay up all night and work with you. And all that in order, to get some takeout. And you start to develop in those moments with the tension and then excitement. And so we kissed again. And eventually we started to have an affair over the next few months. The guilt quickly set in," Beatty said. "I don't want to get into full details of my sex life, but my husband was my first and my only up until Kwame. So the level of guilt that I have fully violated, my husband and my marriage, that was not a light thing." So basically, she didn't really care at that time because she continued to have a relationship with Kwame during this whole campaign and even when he won office. So I don't know, a lot of people still always say that they feel guilty when they step out on their marriage and stuff like that. But let's not forget, he was in office for 2 terms, you guys. So for me, I'm kind of looking a little bit sideways on it. But let's get back into what she said. She said that was not a light thing, that it weighed on me. The whole thing was, oh my God, we could never do this again. What the heck are we doing? So it didn't start like, hey, let's get it on. No, that wasn't it. It was, we can do this. We are tripping, There was always the guilt, and this is wrong. This is the wrong thing. But, oh, girl, does it feel so right? Now, this is what Beatty said, honey. So, and Kilpatrick also said that she was vulnerable. But according to them both, it was a strong connection that neither one of them could deny. Kwame is not a man. He is now the mayor of Detroit, and he is moving into the big house, the Manoogian Manson. Now, according to what his wife Carlita said, she went on to explain that, she started to see that Kwame was changing, okay? Basically living 2 lives. Carlita didn't like the guy that was the mayor, and she used to tell Kwame not to bring the mayor home. Beatty said that she and Carlita were not friends. They were cordial. She never disrespected Carlita, and she had to keep up the lie and stand in this woman's face in her house and know that it was a whole lot going on. Beatty said it was the worst. It was the worst thing to ever have happened, and she felt really bad about it, about everything. but it still felt right for her to continue this love affair that she had with Kwame. Kilpatrick did indicate that this was not his only affair, so it leads me to look at him a little bit sideways when he states the love that he had for his wife and Beatty was very deep. This is just my personal opinion, but homie, you out here laying it down thick and wide with a bunch of different women, your wife, Christine, and others. So who was really the love of your life, Kilpatrick? Explain. Now, don't come at me, you guys, because I really do understand that people say that there is, a possibility that you could be in love with two people at the same time. But how can you be in love with the two people at the same time and then you still out here tiptoeing with some other randoms as well? Like, this was just too messy. Let's not forget that the hip hop mayor, honey, by this time, he was the mayor of Detroit and he was out here mixing and mingling, honey, with these stars. So does that mean that he was out here laying it low and spreading it wide with some of these celebrities? I mean, I got questions because, since he already had other people that he was mixing and mingling with, besides Christine and his wife, then maybe he was having some rendezvous with these celebrities too. Maybe he was getting it in with some of these. And I'm just speculating. I'm just saying what I believe that could have occurred, not that it did. But when these individuals become famous, they start to, see what else that they can dib and dab into. So it's a possibility that maybe he was meeting people from all over the world. Like Ludacris said it, he had holes in area codes. I'm just saying. But nonetheless, let's get back into it. So as his first term as mayor of the city of Detroit, Kwame started to do a lot of things that were questionable per se. And according to the word on the curb, you guys, they say that Kwame was doing some criminal activity and that his whole life were just opportunities to make money illegally. That he was out here just doing criminal stuff with the funds of Detroit. Now, let's get into this part, and we won't indulge a lot into it. But just to let you know that, word on the curb is that he started to do a lot of criminal activity. It started getting picked up. The news stations and stuff in Detroit were starting to report on the misuse of funds. And then eventually he ended up getting charged with criminal activity. So a federal judge sentenced Kwame Kilpatrick to 28 years of prison for racketeering conspiracy that included extortion, bribery, and fraud. 32 others have been convicted as well of these crimes in connection with the case, including Kilpatrick's contractor friend, Bobby Ferguson, who received a 21-year jail term. Now, I do not want to just go into the whole thing and a bunch of information regarding this. You guys can take a look at the articles that I did post in the links below to get some thorough information, because the FBI opened a case on Kilpatrick in 2004, 2 years after he moved into the mayor's mansion. Initially, we had sources and a few cooperating defendants from the cases who revealed that they did a pay-to-play scheme. Pause. For those of you who do not know what a pay-to-play scheme is, according to the Googler, honey, and you can look this up yourself as well, it's when investment firms or their employees make campaign contributions to politicians or candidates for office in hopes of receiving business from them. So basically, I'm going to donate you all this money and you send some business this way that I could be able to make some money. If you guys remember Monica Conyers, she was in a political office as well. She is married to John Conyers, and y'all can look him up. But it was something similar to that situation as well that happened with Monica, where she got called out and she was busted for doing some of the same things. So y'all better check out these politicians, honey, and see who they be who they be getting their donations from and who they be representing, because it's all in circle to each other. But let's continue, because they say and that the mayor was behind it as well. And this is according to the documents that I have read, and the investigation unfolded a whole bunch of stuff that ended up coming out. One it mentioned was one situation that occurred at the Manoogian Manson. The other was the mention of the infidelity with Christine Beatty. Now, I just want you to know that during the trial, Christine Beatty was on the stand, to which they were asking her questions about cheating accusations with Kwame, and she denied everything, even though they brought up text messages between the two. These text messages told the whole story of them on trips and having rendezvous with each other. The text messages told how much they loved each other, how their love making the nights before were bomb. They just could not get enough of each other. Needless to say, they could not hide any of their fornications, baby, not one, because these text messages were so well put together like a novel book. We was flipping the pages, honey. They had to give us like a step-by-step tutorial on these whole text messages between the two. And we knew who, what, when, where, and why about their whole relationship just through the text messages, which was crazy. But something interesting did come from those text messages, or should I say from the court proceedings. There was the talk about how Carlita found out about him laying it low and spreading it wide, and he was cheating on her with Christine. Pause.
Good evening, Detroit. I want to start tonight by saying to the citizens of this great city, I'm sorry.
It's January 2008, and Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick is addressing the people of Detroit.
To all of you who have believed in what we've been doing here since 2002, to all of you who have believed in me and my leadership, I truly apologize to each and every one of you individually and to the whole city.
Just days earlier, the Detroit Free Press had published private text messages between the mayor and his chief of staff, Christine Beatty. Text messages revealing that they had had an affair that stretched on for years.
September 12, 2002, Christine Beatty writes, "Last night when I was laying on your shoulder in the car, and you held my face and sang whatever song it was, that felt so good." September 24th, Beatty writes, "So we are officially busted. Ha ha. The mayor. Ha ha. Damn that. Never busted."
I want to make a public apology to my entire family. For the first time in my life, I had to have a conversation with my 12-year-old twin sons about very grown-up things. Finally, and most importantly, I want to make a public apology to my wife, Carlita, who I fell in love with when I was 19 years old. This dynamic, strong, caring woman has been forced to go through this very difficult experience because of me. I truly apologize to you.
Kwame is sitting in a church, and as he speaks, the camera begins to pull back, revealing his wife Carlita sitting beside him, holding his hand.
It is very difficult for me to talk to you at this moment, but I want to let you know what is on my heart tonight. Yes, I am angry, I am hurt, and I am disappointed. But there is no question that I love my husband. Most couples who work through problems in their marriage are able to do so privately. Unfortunately, that option is not available to us. As his wife, I know how committed my husband is to the city of Detroit. I am asking the citizens of this city to be committed to him. Thank you.
Now, boo, they say, word on the curb, that Carlita was so distraught with this whole situation between him and Christine, and she was fed up, honey, that she decided that she wanted to hire an investigator to follow Kilpatrick around and bring her receipts on his whereabouts and what he was doing and with whom. She was so mad that he had publicly embarrassed her that this was her only route to go. And so she did. And then the word on the curb, it started to bring about information to her from the investigation regarding the secret Manoogian Manson party. Girl, we got to get into this, honey. We're going to pause right here. And then I'm going to break everything down in the next part about this secret Manoogian Mansion party that took place or didn't take place that may have resulted in a murder. Stay tuned.